Good morning, everybody. We are back. It is the closing line for Saturday, April 7th, 2018. I'm your host, the Big Man on Campus. First show of the year. We'll be here every Saturday at 11 a.m. talking baseball and on the diamond. Donnie Rightside, I'm hoping will join me in a moment. Looks like he's having some issues getting on the air today, but we will get to all the games today. A cold day around the United States, particularly on the mid-Atlantic, northeastern areas of the East Coast. We'll break it down. Even everywhere else, when you look at Colorado last night, very cold. It's a cold day for a lot in the United States. We'll get to that and more here today. Hopefully, everyone enjoys the new show. It's MLB. We spent, we started this show with college football. We went through college basketball. And now we're into baseball. So should be fun. And I welcome everyone on the show today. If you're out there, hit the like button. Also, retweet the show on Twitter. It's a great way to get the show out there to people and to grow the channel. And keep in mind, a lot of great stuff on the channels. You got UFC, you got baseball, you got NBA, you got NHL, you got all sorts of stuff going on to make sure you're supporting all the channels and all the channels that work and shows. Uh, are we going to be getting? I guess Donnie will just join us. I don't know how we're going to do this, but um, we'll just keep rocking with what we're doing. We'll start it out 965-966. The Baltimore Orioles back in New York against the Yankees last night. Yankee backers, Yankee fans, tough night for them. 14 innings. Who was it? A Holder gives up a grand slam to Pedro Alvarez. Game, set, match, night. If someone can explain, and I actually don't need anyone to explain, I actually already know, but if someone can explain how Didi Gregorius was out, I'd like to hear it. I mean, the plate was being blocked. That's illegal. It's an illegal play. He was blocking it before he caught the ball. It's standard. I don't know why it was so difficult, but I know Yankee backers weren't happy with that. But Orioles get on and move on. Today they host the Orioles yet again. Tillman and Gray. Sonny Gray coming in. Obviously needs to be big for the Yankees. He needs to be that second, third guy. He needs to be a guy that gives them positive innings, at least, for the foreseeable future. They don't have a particularly good second starter right now. I don't know that I trust Masahiro Tanaka. I certainly don't trust CC Sabathia. You need Sonny Gray to come in there and be good. You have to have it. He only went 4 innings in his first start against Toronto. Need him to be better, need him to be more economical and throw more pitches. That's just not good enough. Only going 4 innings. Tillman, on the other hand, he'll be erratic. This is what this rotation does. Again, last night though, Kevin Gausman had usually been erratic, and the Yankees struggle to score off him and off of anybody. I think Baltimore's better than people might lead on. I don't think it's out of the question that they can make the playoffs with the lineup they have. They just need the rotation to be good enough. Dylan Bundy, Chris Tillman, Kevin Gausman. They're going to have the lineup, and the lineup's good. I mean, you saw what Manny Machado could do. He just owned CC Sabathia, and he owned him again last night. But it's a tough one because I'm not really right now in love with laying 205, 210 with the Yankees. Just not. I mean, Giancarlo Stanton is striking out a ton. They're not getting a lot of big hits. And really, other than Didi Gregorius right now, they haven't really gotten much of anything offensively over the last game or two. They need more. They need to have more there. I don't know if they can do it. Is Donnie going to be joining us, Larry, or do you know?
We're getting him in. He'll
Getting
be
him
in a
in.
minute. Let's see. Let's
Okay,
see what
very
we're
good.
doing.
Okay, because the show's a bit easier with two people on here, so I'll just kind of talk about the Yankees until then, hopefully. But yeah, so you need more out of the Yankees. You need more out of that lineup. Last night and over the last night or two, they've been brutal. Aaron Judge had a great catch last night. Yeah, they made some decent plays in the field, but you need more into the lineup, and they didn't get it last night. Now you lose Brandon Drury for the foreseeable future. That's a tough loss. Injuries are going to happen, but you need more than just Didi Gregorius to get through, a couple games here. Welcome into some of the listeners here. Vortex, Matthew, Carolina, Guan White, Mr. Coates, Armin, Jay. Who else we have? R.S. Jacobs, uh, Sonny Betts, Kyle Hamburg, Nick Dial, AB Sports, Kyle, David Hutton. What's up, everybody? Welcome into the show. Uh, Armin getting ready for the NBA playoffs. Yeah, I hear you. Bryce, what's up? How you doing? This is a tough one. Honestly, at this price, I want to lean with the Orioles. I mean, this team's playing pretty well right now. To be frank here, I mean, I want to take the Orioles. I don't trust the Yankees right now. They go through these little stretches where they can't score runs. And you look the last two nights. I mean, you scored three and you scored 2 runs. Not good enough. Need more. And the annoying thing with the Yankees last night is they had opportunities in the first through 4 innings. I had them first five, team total over 2.5. I mean, they had bases loaded at one point with one out, I think. And you look at this, you look at the lineup. Didi Gregorius leads them in every offensive category. And other than him, there's only one other player hitting above 275 that plays on a regular basis, and that's Judge. I mean, Stanton's hitting 212. Brett Gardner, the leadoff, hitting 182. Gary Sanchez has been absolutely horrible. I mean, he's hitting .63 this year. Gary Sanchez. He has 2 hits and 32 plate appearances. Not good enough. Not even close. Not even on the same planet. Ronald Torres, 143. Tyler Austin and Tyler Wade, 158 and 150. Not good enough. And now you lose Drury, a guy that had played pretty well for a game or two. I kind of lean with the Baltimore Orioles in this game, plus the big price. Mets and Washington. Washington laying 155, 160. Total is 8. Steven Matz against Gio Gonzalez. I generally like Gio Gonzalez, but I like him more in the 120, 130 role. I'm not looking to lay 150 with him, especially against a pretty good Met team. The problem that I have with Matz um, is he efficient enough? He's obviously the weakest link in that rotation right now, and he's not a guy that I'm looking to really get involved with. But I'll tell you right now, Gio, I don't know. I mean, he's solid. Again, I like him at the 110, 120 price. I'm not looking to lay 150 with him. This Mets lineup, other than Juan Lagares, doesn't have a ton of success against him. Cespedes has somewhat of success and a little bit of limited plate appearances, but other than that, there's not a ton of success really against either pitcher. I mean, Washington doesn't see much of Mats either, though. This is a tough one because I don't really want to bet Mats, and I don't really want to bet Gio Gonzalez at 150. If it was at 130, 125, I'd be interested more in Gio. But at this price, I'm not as interested in either team because I think the Mets will come back to earth for sure. Mats is broken and not getting better, says Joe Macaron. Yeah, he's obviously the weak link in that rotation for sure. It's just a bit too high of a price for me. Let's keep it going. Tampa Bay and Boston. Boston laying 160, total 8.5. Faria against Porcello. Jacob Faria, who had a bit of a tough season last year, or Faria, whatever you want to say. All right. And Tampa Bay is struggling to start the season. They're 1-6, but you'd have to hope Faria can maybe be your guy. This is his first start in Fenway, so that's never a good idea. But he did pitch pretty well in his first start against the Red Sox. He only gave up 1 run over 4 innings. Obviously not good enough. But yeah, I lead Boston here. I mean, Porcello is a guy that I don't love, but I'm more inclined to back him over Faria. Faria's just not a guy that goes particularly deep into games a lot of the time. And as far as against Porcello, there's not a ton of success with this lineup. No one really has any success against Rick Porcello. I'm not running to the window to bet -160 on Rick Porcello, but maybe a first five minus a half. I could see them with a lead after 5 innings. Another price that I'm not running to the window to bet. You lay consistent 160s with Rick Porcello, and you're not going to make a lot of money in baseball. I wouldn't be doing that. Um, Rays already lost 6 games in a row. Haven't won. Sox have won straight. Right? Yeah, I hear you. Again, until the streak gets to 10 or so, I'm not too interested in it. But I hear you on that. Red Sox, are limited against um, Faria. Haven't seen him a ton. And again, guys, just got to bear with me here. I'm usually I planned on doing the show with Donnie Rightside. Guy has a ton of issues with his computer. Seattle, Minnesota. Minnesota laying 155. Total 8. Barrios and Leak. Michael Leak. Lot of big prices today as far as these first 3 games, 4 games really, all at 150 or higher. Do you have value on Mike Leak here? Um, yeah, I mean, sure, I guess, but I'm not really looking to step in front of Berrios. Berrios was really, really good in his first start. 107 pitches, had a shutout against Baltimore, and only gave up 1 hit before the ninth inning. So, I mean, he was on fire. Probably one of the best starts of the opening day schedule, really. And with him on the mound, it's hard to fade him here against Mike Leake. Mike Leake was pretty good though against Cleveland as well. He earned a win in a 7 inning debut. Only gave up 2 runs over 7 innings. Impressive stuff, but Berrios just looked more on. Neither team has faced the opposing pitcher a ton. Um, Maybe under. I mean, under's not a bad play here. I don't think under 8. Both pitchers were pretty good. You obviously got to hope Mike Leake can keep the ball in the ballpark and kind of get through that lineup. But on the surface, I would probably look Minnesota here. It's a bit out of my price range. I don't know if I've mentioned, but I'm not really laying on anything above 140. Just not really my thing. And I don't really see a run line being an option here either because I could see it being a pretty close game. I'll lead under 8. But I will be honest, guys, none of these plays so far have really put much pep in my step, frankly. A bit too high to lay, and there's not really a ton. I don't really see a ton of reasoning to take the dogs here. I'm not really looking to bet against Barrios. I don't really want to bet against Gio. I guess the only one that I'd consider would be the Nationals or the Mets plus the big price. The way the Mets are playing, it's hard to ignore. Maybe the Baltimore Orioles, but not a ton here so far. 969, 970. White Sox and Detroit. White Sox 117, and the total is 8. Michael Fulmer against Lucas Giolito. And if you know and follow me, I've had a couple tough games so far with Detroit. They're a tough team to back. Okay, Donnie, are you on?
I am in the house, brother.
Okay, why don't you pick it up here? Detroit and Chicago. Why don't you set the stage here?
All right, let's see what we got here. Detroit, Chicago, it's at 969, 970. Fulmer, Giolito, 1,800 tickets have been tracked in this one. 55% of those tickets leaning on the home team. Chicago White Sox, Jeff, opened up at -108 and -110 at Pinnacle and Chris. And now if we take a look at those updated odds, -115 at Pinnacle, -117 at Chris. So line moving in the right direction with that ticket count here. But again, we're probably looking there in Chicago, Jeff, as we said, a freezing cold day in Detroit. Sometimes not the worst idea to just take the dog when it's damn near snowing at these ballparks.
Yeah, and again, I think the only time you back Detroit is when Fulmer pitches. Fulmer's really the only guy that I'm interested in. He was brilliant in his first start. He was very good against the Pirates. Problem is, I mean, they just can't score runs, Detroit, and that's the issue. You also look at the fact that there are a couple guys that hit Fulmer pretty well, including Abreu. So you have to kind of worry about him, but I lean Detroit here. I just think if I can get Fulmer as an underdog, I'm interested. And Lucas Giolito, a young guy. Keep in mind, he'll have I think 6 days of no work here between his starts. That could screw up a young guy here. I would lean and like Detroit here. Again, I don't like this team really ever. And if I do bet this game, it'd probably be the first 5 money line. I don't want to get involved with Detroit's bullpen. They've been a walking corpse throughout many years here. I kind of like Detroit here, first 5.
No, it seems like a decent opinion here, Jeff. Also, just logging in here, trying to get some stuff up to speed. We do apologize for the Skype difficulties that I had getting online today. We should be clean throughout the day, but appreciate the 133 people in here again without a live link, even though the show is live. Thank you for supporting us and jumping in here. So we'll just keep it moving down the list. Where are we at now, Jeff, on the game card? What do we go over?
I went over all the games at 1 and 2, and now we're going into Arizona, St. Louis.
All right, so instead of going in the way of rotation, we'll go in the way of time.
Yes.
All right, so Arizona, St. Louis, Greinke, Waka, 4,300 tickets have been tracking this one. Almost 70% are going to back Zach Greinke. Why? Because he's a name out there and it's early in the season. It's what the betting public is going to do. Line opened up at minus 113 at Pinnacle, now sitting at minus 108. Chris at minus 115, dropped down to minus 111. 31% of the tickets on Waka, 31% of the money here. Nice little dog action move here if you're trying to take a look at the home team, Jeff, with St. Louis over Arizona. Let me just do a quick peek of how we're looking in the Heartland with weather. Oh, Jeff, how about that? 39 degrees at opening pitch. Good luck with that. Again, one of these games in freezing cold weather. I'm just going to take the dog in this one and flip the coin.
Yeah, I wish I was getting a little bit more back here. I mean, Waka, I'm a bit concerned with just because I don't know, he was pushed back a day and it kind of screwed him up. But St. Louis, a lot of these hitters have good success against Zach Greinke. A lot of it in limited plate appearances, but still, Matt Carpenter 333, Wong 308, 364 for Ozuna. Definitely some good plate appearances here. And look, Zach Greinke had an injury in spring training, which is a concern. Yeah, I would have liked to get a little bit more back on St. Louis if I'm going to take them here. But yeah, I agree. I mean, the quote unquote ticket money stuff doesn't make a ton of sense here. I would agree with you. I think St. Louis is the home play here.
Yeah, and that's also coming off, Jeff. What we have Greinke with a really good start to start the season, Waka with a disappointing one. So you're hoping that comes back to the median there. But you're getting a home price on a decent home team in this situation. And again, Arizona Dome team used to being in the warmer weather. Now is going to come up and get that free shock early to start the season. So we'll see what happens. But it's a 2 o'clock game. At least it's not like a 7 o'clock game where that weather might have dipped down in maybe the high 20s or low 30s at this point. But yeah, you're right there. Guan White says football weather and baseball. Looks like it's damn near across, unless you're playing in Southern California or out in California with San Francisco. I think the Giants game's maybe 55, 60 degrees. But outside of that, man, you're going to get some terrible, terrible conditions here. If we keep on moving down, Jeff, we'll head to a dome. So we're not going to have frigid cold weather conditions like you would have in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, if this game was outdoors back in the old days at County Stadium, where the Brewers used to play before they went inside to the dome. 957, 958. Darvish and Davies on the mound. 70% of the tickets going to line up on the road team here with the Chicago Cubs opened up at 138 and 145. Some differentiating opening numbers here. 138 at Pinnacle opens now at sitting now at minus 146. Minus 145 to Chris, now sitting at minus 140. So a little bit of, I want to say maybe flip-flopping in opposite directions depending on what book you have. But one thing is for sure, Milwaukee's the underdog here with 30% of the tickets. Coming in this game, Jeff, both of these pitchers looking for a bounce-back start off their efforts. Darvish was terrible opening day against not opening day, but his opening start versus a terrible Marlins team. And then you can look at Davies and 9.52 ERA, 1.4 whip. That only threw one game as well. Nice for Darvish, though, getting lit up in your first game, Jeff, and your team still wins that ball game. But again, looking at one of those things here, how's Darvish going to make it over to the National League? We'll see how it ties up here. But one thing's clear, Milwaukee's not getting a lot of love and support from the public.
Yeah, and I think it's just because they've been irritating. I mean, listen, I backed them twice as well this year. They've lost both games. Last night I don't back them, and of course they win. I mean, Milwaukee's just been hard to gauge. I mean, very Jekyll and Hyde. But at the end of the day, Zachary Davies wasn't good in his first outing either. So, both these guys have been pretty poor. I'm not in love with Davies against the Cubs either. Some of these guys hit him pretty well. I would think a competitor like you, Darvish, though I don't know that he's going to be that successful in Chicago. I think Chicago's a team that will struggle at certain points in the year. I don't know that their lineup's good enough throughout all facets. I don't love their rotation. Darvish needs to be good. This is a huge start for him because he wasn't good in his first start. Obviously, Cubs fans are going to hope that he can come back here, but this is on the road. He needs better command of his pitches. You would hope a competitor like Darvish can bounce back. At this price against this pitcher, I don't hate it. It's not like I'm laying 170 here. 140-ish is about the max here that I'd look to lay on this game. Cubs are a better team right now. I've had limited success with the Brewers, so keep that in mind. But I would I still think there's a little bit on Darvish here just because I think he will bounce back. But again, another game that I'm not in love with. There's a lot of games, Donnie, between this one, between the Tampa, Boston, Seattle, Minnesota, Mets, Washington, a lot of tough prices to lay where I'm not in love with taking the dog in the spot. And I also don't really want to lay it with the favorite. So, I mean, again, if it's 140, I might take Darvish. But anything above that, it's just kind of an avoidance for me.
Yeah, no, you're right. 973, 974, Kansas City and Cleveland. If you watched yesterday, again, that game was played in freezing conditions. Shame on you, I guess, if you had the over in that game, Jeff. What is it, 3-2 after the first inning, and that game doesn't get over. I believe it closed at 7. That's kind of a tough beat for you as you're waiting for some of the scoring to come around, which never happened. Cleveland never could put the team away. I mean, obviously winning the game, but most people would have bet that game. You're probably not going straight up and laying, 240, 250, 260, taking a run line. Never could get it home. There was one instance, I believe, Jeff, it was the 8th inning. I want to say Kipnis was up. It hit a rocket off of the third baseman, which couldn't get the run score home from third base. So that was a tough beat if you had even the run line in that one or the over. But take a look at today. Kennedy and Bauer on the mound. 74% of the early tickets, Jeff, coming in on Cleveland. Line opened up at 205. Now sits at 219 at Pinnacle. 210 it opened up at Chris. 223. So more of the same here going against the Royals at this point. But again, you're going to be in freezing cold conditions. Again, we'll see how some of these pitchers react to this. I'm not just saying you're going to take a blind dog just because it's freezing cold, because they're really not a good ball club, the Kansas City Royals. But are you going to lay that big a number when damn near it feels like snowstorms are coming through the area?
And I'm going to lay this number with Trevor Bauer.
Yeah,
Big.
exactly.
I mean, this is like a Carrasco price. I'm not laying this kind of number with Bauer, especially with this Indians team. The top of this lineup blows. They stink. They're not any good. Okay, right now they have not hit. You look at Jose Ramirez, Kipnis, Lindor, Encarnacion, Yonder Alonso, and Rajai Davis, all 200 or less batting averages. They're not hitting. And now you're laying 200 plus with Trevor Bauer on the hill? Yeah, I'm not interested. I don't hate the Royals lineup right now. They're not awful. They're decent. They'll obviously fade as the season goes on. Their rotation's not good enough. I mean, Donnie, Jose Ramirez is hitting .77.
Yeah.
Kipnis 154, Naquin 167. I mean,
How about Jan
there's no
Gomes,
one.
Jeff? How about the great Jan Gomes? Is he raking it in right now?
118. There's no one, Donnie, on this team hitting above 250. No one. No one. Not even Brantley, and he only has 4 at bats. He's only hitting 250. He is the highest batting average. Other than Brantley, the highest batting average is Lonnie Chisenhall at 235. This lineup stinks right now. If you lay 240 or whatever they are, you're a fucking idiot. You shouldn't be doing it. They're not hitting right now. Give me the Royals.
955, 956, Jeff, Dodgers, San Francisco. I'm going to throw some of these early tickets out and these early moves out because I think there were some pitching changes on the mound here. The Dodgers going with Rich Hill, the lefty, versus Stratton. 60% are going to back up the Dodgers here. It did open up at 142, now sitting at 119 at Pinnacle. If we shift that over, 165 down to 126 at Chris, which again, I believe there were pitching changes that took place. This went over under 7.5 across the board. Not bad weather here if you're taking a look at the Dodgers and San Francisco in this one, but do credit the pitching change. Not much offense between both of these two teams to open the season. We'll see what takes place. If you're looking for just maybe a live dog, if you were reading into the money and where it's going right now, would lead you in the direction of the San Francisco Giants. But I hasten to take a look at a lot of that movement, Jeff, just because I think with the pitching changes, you're not getting a real relative read on what those true numbers were opening at.
Yeah, and again, I want to take the Giants here, but again, not a ton back you're getting really. If I'm going to bet Stratton, I would at least get like plus 130 back or something. Rich Hill, he's discussed that he had a shorter pregame warm up, and that may have aided in his success. Rich Hill is a good pitcher as long as he can stay away from the blister issues. They haven't seen him, the Giants, a ton. Neither lineup has really seen the opposing pitcher a ton. If this was 8, I'd go under. It's a tough card today. I don't see much here that I'm interested in. It's hard for me to like Chris Stratton really ever.
And going into the frozen tundra, Jeff, that we know as South Philadelphia today, you're going to have Miami, which is the Marlins, and the Philadelphia Phillies lining up 959, 960, 1,300 tickets have been tracked. 63% are backing Velasquez, and the Philadelphia Phillies here, Jeff, opened up at 155, now sitting at 148 at Pinnacle, 145 at Chris, but now sitting at 151 at Chris. So depending on what book you're at, you're going to get some differentiating live movements in this one. If we're taking a look at the over-under, it looks like it's opened up at 8, 8.5, but now sitting at 8 across the board. It's a freezing cold day. If you looked at the last start, Jeff, that we had from Peters, really nice. Didn't give up an earned run. You look at Velasquez's pristine 13.48 ERA. But again, you're looking at the Miami Marlins, Jeff, the single worst team in baseball, the worst talent level in baseball. A lot of people are just going to be auto-fading Miami as the season goes on, especially on the road. But again, Philadelphia, windy, freezing cold for this game. We'll see what plays out in this one. It's tough. I mean, the Phillies aren't that good a team. Eventually, they're going to start hitting once the weather gets better. But it's looking like just a blind fade against the Marlins at this point because they're just that bad.
Yeah, but I'm not really interested in the Phillies. Vince Velasquez is not a starter in Major League Baseball, Donnie. Until the Phillies realize that, they'll continue to struggle in their rotation. He doesn't go deep enough into games. He should be a setup guy. Put him in the bullpen. It is what it is. Maybe you think differently, but I don't know that he's a starter in my opinion. I don't see him going deep enough. They should make that change if they want to do better. But other than Reese Hoskins as well, is there anyone on this team hitting? I mean, really, Scott Kingery's not had a lot of success. Santana's hitting 136. Alfaro, Williams, Altair, Crawford, all really struggling as well. But do you want to back Miami? You really got to pick spots with Miami. I don't hate the spot for Miami. Phillies against a lefty, who knows? At this price, I don't think it's awful. I don't like Vince Velasquez. He doesn't go deep, and you're going to get some bullpen opportunities against the Phillies here, which at times has been a mess. And again, Donnie, I don't like Don Mattingly, but Gabe Kapler loses games to the Phillies on a regular basis. I don't hate Miami in this game.
Yeah, no, it's not a bad option to look at because you already see the tea leaves coming out of Philadelphia. The one thing that baseball players like, Jeff, is if you're a starter, you like to play. You want to play 6 days a week, maybe get off Sunday, and then you start right back up on Monday, and you know that regimen. Right now, the Phillies are working on a game-to-game basis based on analytics after about 4 or 5 games in the season. Who's going to bat better versus a certain type of pitcher? You already heard the squabbles or Odubel Herrera doesn't start game one. And Jeff, you throw analytics out the window, maybe, right? You have starters you're going to lean on. You want Odubel Herrera to have a good season. He's a 10-cent head out there that can go off at any moment and just looks like he doesn't care about baseball, get picked off, lollygag around. Opening day is a big deal to major leaguers. From when you're starting even down in 3rd grade all the way up through high school, the first game means a lot because it's opening day. I don't give a damn if you're, 0.003 to 0.004, where Odubel Herrera shouldn't start day one because you have a ground ball pitcher on the mound versus a right-handed pitcher that he might struggle with. That's ridiculous. Opening day, you play your best players and you start them out there. And then you get the stuff from Nick Williams coming in now, who has opened up the season horrific. Now he's saying, it's nice to get text from my manager letting me know the day before that I'm not playing the next day so I can stay up late and play video games and not have any remorse or care about it. That's the type of stuff you're dealing with now, Philadelphia, on this whole new analytics angle, Jeff.
Yeah, it's a road you're going down, and you're already starting to see, Donnie, in the papers around here, if Gabe Kapler gets fired, do the Phillies go after Joe Girardi? I'm already seeing those things.
They can't, that would be so against it, though. The Phillies went in the direction of the pocket protector, pencil pusher. I'm going to play a game on a computer screen. Joe Girardi is the complete opposite of that. He's going to tell you to shove your computer up your ass. I'm going to go with my feel, which is hilarious if they went that route.
Right. Let me ask you at this point, Donnie, and I want you to be honest here. If you could pick right now Gabe Kapler or Joe Girardi, you have to agree you would pick Girardi. I mean, right?
And this comes from Jeff. I don't even love Girardi as a manager, but there's something to be said about the guy who played for a long time, who managed for a long time, who had success for a long time, and says, you know what? I might listen to analytics if you tell me this pitcher might be done after 85 pitches going through the 3rd round of the order. I get it. But he's not going to sit there at the plate and be like, there's a 0.1% chance that, Nick Williams is going to hit better than Odubel Herrera in this spot. How about going your gut feel going, you know what? Nick Williams is 4 for his last 5. He's hot. I'm going to send him up there. I don't give a damn what the numbers say. He's swinging a hot bat. Doesn't that make a little bit more sense in baseball?
Yeah, I mean, you would think, but again, he doesn't think that way, and that's I've mentioned before. I can't stand sabermetrics. I don't care about sabermetrics. I don't use them to bet. I don't use them to cap, and I also hate analytics when it comes to I don't think it matters how hard a ball's hit off the bat. I don't give a fuck. Who cares? They didn't use analytics for hundreds of years. Why now are they that important? Um, Whatever. I'm not going to get into it because all the sabermetric shitheads that come out. Well, big man, you're rudimentary the way you handle it. Fuck off. We bet the way we do. I don't like sabermetrics. I don't care about them. And I think Gabe Kapler finds ways for the Phillies to lose games. We'll see what happens. We'll see if we can get it figured out. But there are people that are mentioning Donnie. Well, the same people that don't like Gabe Kapler were the same people that didn't like Doug Peterson. And look what happened there. But
No,
it's
but
a
yeah,
bit
but
different of a situation.
there's a big difference in that. And like I know analytics are a big part of the Eagles, movement, going for it on fourth down, doing that, but it's a completely different type of situation. If we related it, which I try to tell people, say, well, 'cause it's a great point you bring up, Jeff. The equivalent to what Gabe Kapler is doing would have been, Jeff, in the first game Doug Peterson coached. The Eagles received the kickoff and take a touchback. They get the ball at the 25. And Doug Peterson punted on first down because that's what the analytics told him to do. That's the difference between Gabe Kapler and Doug Peterson. Sometimes you have to use common sense. If we're going, if it's second down at midfield and analytics say punt it deep because nobody's back there, I would lose my absolute mind. That's the difference. Use your head in the situation. There's no comparison between Doug Peterson, the people that didn't like him, and looking at Gabe Kapler.
And then Donnie, you switch it up to another manager that's been odd. Obviously, is Brett Boone, Aaron Boone, Aaron Boone last night. Who, listen, it would suck having to deal with CC Sabathia in your rotation. I mean, obviously older. I mean, it seems like he gets injured every time he pitches. You got to take him out early last night. And you look at the lineup today. Um, Gary Sanchez out of the lineup. Thank God. I mean, this another team in a bit of a flux right now because other than Severino, you haven't had one arm that you can really trust. I mean, Tanaka looks good at times, but then he looks bad at times. They need Sonny Gray today to have a big start.
No, you're right. You're right. And again, I hasten to say it's really early. Most of these clubs, the Phillies on paper look like they're going to hit. Obviously, on paper, it looks like the Yankees are going to be a pretty good ball club. Keep in mind, folks, it's like 25, 35, 45 degrees out there. Not a damn. It looks like the stands are half empty wherever you go. It's going to come around because wait till those days, as I said before, in Yankee Stadium and Citizens Bank Ballpark, Jeff, where it's 90 at first pitch and these guys are all lubed up and ready to go out there. Those balls will be flying out. People start hitting for average. It's tough to gauge early in the season, especially with your pitching staff. I even watched the ninth inning, Jeff, of the Yankees game last night where Chapman, it seemed like an hour-long inning where they had to come out, keep talking to Chapman. Is he hurt? Is he not hurt? You get a translator, which brings me to my next point, Jeff. Can't Chapman, who's been in the country like a decade, understand a single word of English where maybe you can communicate back and forth in baseball terms? Does he still need to have at every single win a translator out there?
I mean, that's just something. I mean, that's pretty known. I mean, there's a lot of people that don't. I'll tell you right now, if I went to, let's say I moved to Italy, I mean, I'm not sure that I'd be inclined to learn the language quick. People speak English.
I
You
mean,
can get
quick
someone
is
speaks English.
relative. Yeah, I mean, quick. Yeah, quick is
Yeah, no,
relative. But he's been for like 10 years.
listen, Donnie, I know people that have been in this country for 70 years and they don't speak English yet. In certain, I guess in certain cultures, they have enough where they could just get by with what they do in their own personal lives, and they just, yeah, I hear you though. I mean, it might be something that he should do. I mean, all these guys should. I mean, it'll benefit them in the long run. But yeah, the Yankee lineup today, not particularly good. I mean, after Gregorius, Alston, Andujar, Peterson, Romine, Torreyes. I mean, Christ Almighty. And other than Judge and Gregorius, I mean, this lineup has been dreadful. Brett Gardner can't hit. Stanton strikes out uh, like like anybody I've ever seen. Yeah, it's bad. But let's get back to what
Yeah.
we're doing, Donnie here.
Yep.
Cincinnati and Pittsburgh.
Yeah, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, Sal Fasano Romano on the mound today versus Chad Cool. And there's 71% of tickets, Jeff, going to back Pittsburgh. Another cold weather environment. Line opened up at 134 and 140. Has dipped down a little bit. We're showing Pinnacle, Jeff, at minus 125. Chris at minus 123, despite almost 7 out of every 10 tickets, Jeff, coming in on the hometown Pirates. If we take a look at opening the season with Cincinnati, Sal Romano, 4.50 ERA through one game. And then we had Chad Cool, who actually picked up a win, Jeff, despite an ERA of 6.35 at this point. Another cold one. Look, Cincinnati's a bad baseball team. I get that. But Chad Cool is not going out there as a dominant pitcher. It's one of those games, Jeff. I like the line movement of this one. I like the way the ticket's set up for Cincinnati. Might be a backer here in the Cincinnati Reds in the cold weather to try to steal a game at Pittsburgh.
Yeah, it's hard to do that with Cincinnati. I mean, they haven't won much at all this year. Just one win in 6 games. But yeah, I don't love Kuhl. He's definitely a guy I'd look to fade. I don't hate this bet from you, Donnie. Their lineup isn't. I don't hate their lineup, Cincinnati. I mean, they have still some decent players in that, in there. Joey Votto, Duval, Billy Hamilton, plenty of options there. Yeah, I agree with you on this play. I'd actually lean Reds myself. You're getting a little plus money action here. Not a far trip from Cincinnati to Pittsburgh. And Romano's okay. I'm definitely looking to fade Kuhl.
Yeah, Chris Carter says there was 55 people at the Pirates game last night. I don't think it's going to get any better, Jeff. First pitch, 37 degrees. By the time the game gets over, 32 degrees out there in Pittsburgh. So not a lot of great family, fun entertainment on a freezing cold night. I don't mind, Jeff, bundling up to go out and see the Atlanta Falcons and the Eagles or the Vikings versus the Eagles. But I have a little bit of a problem bundling up to go out to a Phillies game where not much is going on. You're just going to get crushed by the wind. And, it's amazing. But I guess it's just the way it is in the month of March and April here in the Northeast. It just doesn't seem to get any better. Hopefully it does soon, man.
I don't hate the cold weather early in April. It's kind of like, I don't know. I mean, you don't want I hate the sun.
If you had to play baseball, you would, though. If you had to go out and play hoops,
no,
you know what I mean? At 32
if I was playing,
damn.
Oh, sure. If I was playing, it'd be a different story. But I don't mind as a fan doing it. But yeah, I hear what you're saying. I mean, it's not ideal for sure.
How about last night, Jeff? San Diego stealing one from the world champion Houston Astros. Let's get back at it today. 979, 980. We're going to have Mitchell and Cole on the mound. 86% of the tickets, Jeff, are going to come back with the Houston Astros today. Opened up at minus 260 at Pinnacle, sitting at minus 260. Opened up at 270 at Chris, now sitting at 277. So we're looking for a bounce back effort here from the Houston Astros. Clear pitching advantage, clear talent advantage going with the way of Houston, Jeff. Can the San Diego Padres make it 2 in a row at massive numbers here?
I don't think so. But again, I didn't think they'd win last night either. Garrett Cole, obviously a guy you'd want in there if you want to kind of get a win, get a solid performance out of it. And Brian Mitchell is he was a Yankee bullpen guy. Now he's been thrown into he's kind of that long man kind of guy.
Yep.
I have a feeling today, Donnie, that they crush the Padres. I'd look to lay the run line here. I think they get on San Diego early, and I think they crush them. I think Garrett Cole come out here with a little fervor in his step, and I think they roll. I don't even mind laying 2.5. I think they win 7-2, 7-1, 6-2, something like that. I would look towards Houston here on the run line. I think they bounce back. Mitchell's a guy they should be able to tee off against. I would go with Houston minus 1.5.
Yeah, one of those plays I would like the run line first 5 innings, Jeff, but you're not even getting enough value back, even laying the half run over the first 5. I agree. If you're going to go anything in this game, it's probably going to be run line full game with Houston. Just better in the bullpen, Jeff. Better starting lineup, better starting pitcher in this one. It all lines up. And you always like the extra additive, Jeff, where you lost the night before as a big favorite. Hard to get back-to-back games like that. We've seen it before, but you're right. I think you're on to something there, but just going with the run line is when a complete overmatched effort. 975, 976, Jeff Stroman and Minor on the mound. That's going to be Toronto and Texas. If you take a look, 54% are going to back the road team here, the Toronto Blue Jays. The line opened up, Jeff, however, at minus 137 with Stroman on the mound. That's dipped back to 115 at Pinnacle. If you take a look at Chris, his lines minus 130. That's dipped back to 119, despite only 46% of the tickets on Texas. And Mike Minor here. Do you agree with this line movement here, Jeff? Hard to back Texas at this point. Not a very good team, but that line movement here certainly has my interest peaked.
By the way, Donnie, with Houston, maybe first or a team total over 5.5. I think they put up 6+.
Good
As
one. That's a
far
good
as
one.
as far as in this game, uh, Jesus, where do you really go? I mean, Texas is a mess. I think Stroman's a bit of a mess as well. He looked like he was still working on his pitches a little bit, but I guess his pitch count is off. He should be able to pitch pretty well against Texas. But Texas is a pretty good lineup, Donnie. This might be one where I might see some fireworks in. Mike Minor, I'm a bit concerned about. I think Toronto could put up some runs today against him. The Texas lineup's always good enough to score a couple as well. It's only 8.5. In that weather, it's probably one of the places in America where there probably is some pretty good weather. I know, obviously, I was in Texas earlier this week. I mean, it's 35 today in Arlington. Jesus Christ, man. Is that true? That can't be right.
Hold on. I gotta check that out. Hold on, let me bring up
That's what
my
I'm
pad
seeing.
here.
35 degrees currently at 10 a.m.
Yeah, 43.
Uh,
I got 43 at first
spot
pitch.
on.
Yep.
Wow, that's amazing. I mean, I was just in San Antonio and it was 80. It's only a couple hours away. Wow, that's amazing. So yeah, okay, maybe I'm not as interested in this game. I'll pass. This card is weird today, really weird. By the way, wanted to make this clear, Donnie. For anyone interested, I know this is a baseball show. I'm on Manchester United at 12:30 plus 375. I'm on that. I'm adding that to my card. Donnie, I'm rolling today in football. Come
Yeah,
on, baby.
by the way,
Do not
is the Premier
let me down.
is the Premier League just starting up, or is it? Because I know you're doing like Champions League. Is the Premier League going right now?
No, it's actually, yeah. Premier League's almost over. They actually go.
Oh,
Both seasons are at the same time. Champions League is just kind of separate from it. Only certain
gotcha.
teams are in that.
Who's
So
who's
yeah,
in the
I'm
league?
who's in Champions League still? The only
No.
Premier League teams are
Who's supposed to win the Premier League at this point?
Manchester City's going to win. They're like way up on everyone else.
All right.
And they play United today. So I'm on United plus 375. Manchester Derby, Donnie. Nothing better. Manchester Derby. We got Derby days today. Liverpool and
Who's home? Who's home?
Everton.
Yeah, who's home?
City's at home. So they're off that 3-0 loss to Liverpool in the Champions League. They're on the brink of extinction in that league. So I like United's lineup today a lot. I love it. And Sutton United goes over the total, Donnie. Boom! We got it. Let's go. Woo!
Yeah, where
We're
can I
rolling,
find
Donnie.
Sutton United? Was that Britain?
Sutton United is in Britain.
Britain?
It's the fifth league. It's National League,
Oh,
fifth league.
dang.
Very, very low. Yes. They were playing AFC Filed today. Rolling, baby. Sutton United, Donnie, was actually a team. I don't know if you remember this last year. Their goalie was
Oh,
jammed
the guy
up for
eating
eating
the
a.
sandwich? Eating the
Yes.
sandwich. Yeah.
Yeah. That was him. Their backup goalie, Sutton United, when they played. I think they played. Who was it? Arsenal,
Somebody
maybe. I
cashed a
think it
bet on
was.
that too. Yeah, that was him looking out for his boys. Like
He
somebody
did. He did.
wasn't
It
one
was
of
like
like the
8.
fun like wagers. Was like, will the guy eat? And he actually did eat.
Yeah, you see him on the sidelines chomping down. He's eating the meat.
Like a
Yeah,
ham
no,
meat
that was
pie or
that
something.
was
Yeah.
that was definitely him. But yeah, as far as Blue Jays Rangers, it's a pass for me. I don't see much value in the match.
963, 964, Atlanta and Colorado, Jeff. Atlanta goes up and out, hits the Rockies in their home environment. A freezing cold day yesterday. The Sharps, Jeff, banging that number lower. Didn't matter. Still went over the total. We go right back to Coors Field today, Jeff. Opened up at an 11.5. Looks like the Sharps are coming over the top again, Jeff, to knock it down to an 11. Anibal Sanchez, Chad Bettis on the mound here. You know what? I haven't checked the actual weather here. I'm going to assume it's pretty much the same as what we had yesterday. Let's take a look here with some updated weather conditions here in Colorado.
Yeah, it's still cold. 34, but the wind is blowing in. So
it was almost the same as yesterday. Wind was blowing in yesterday. It didn't seem like it mattered at all. But actually, Jeff, I had
Donnie,
at 60 degrees today.
I told you. I don't care what the weather conditions are at Coors Field. It doesn't matter. This is just a weird stadium. Okay, weird things happen here, and I don't really. I look at who's pitching and that kind of stuff. The weather doesn't mean much. I mean, it was snowing before the game yesterday, for God's sakes, and this pitching matchup is scary to me. Anibal Sanchez, he's still in major leagues.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, his
Eat up the minutes,
wow,
man.
wow. Yeah, that's a concern. I mean, I actually like Bettis here at this price. I think it's good enough. Atlanta, again, I mean, they're on the road. I think they're going to be a team you want to back at home this year as opposed to on the road. Anibal Sanchez is a concern. I'm looking Colorado here.
Yeah, no, if you took a look at the ticket line in that, Jeff, 63% back in Colorado with only 44% of the money. Line opened up at Pinnacle at minus 150, dropped to minus 140. Same look for Chris. It opened up at minus 155. That's down to minus 141. So that Braves money coming in, just looking at that Coors, Field pinball gallery up there, as we like to say. But it looks like a little bit better weather than yesterday. We'll see if that leads to some hitting in that environment, Jeff. And there's always something that we save, Jeff, the best for last, right? You always want to save your ace in the hole, best for last. 977, 978. The one, the only 1-0 Andrew Triggs on the mound versus Ramirez. I believe it's JC Ramirez, 62% of tickets. So, Jeff, going against the Anaheim Angels at this point, 62% of the public needs a lobotomy to fade Andrew Triggs. Line opened up at minus 129, Jeff, but now sits at minus 102 for the Athletics of Oakland. 131 it opened up at Chris. That sits at minus 109 for the Oakland A's, Jeff. The smart money, Jeff, is on the Athletics.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely is. Again, last night, I mean, did you watch that game last night, Donnie? That Angel game?
I did not. I saw the final score.
Dude, they were down 6-0, the Angels, and came back and won 13-9. Pretty amazing. Shohei Ohtani hit a home run, make it 6-1. And then that was really it. Angels come back. Game goes obviously way over. I mean, this game was over in like the 4th inning. What a wild matchup here. This game should be a little bit more tamed, but hey, you never know. You've been talking about Triggs. You like Triggs. And yeah, I mean, he was very good in that first game.
Yeah, good spot.
Yeah. Yeah, I just don't like the Oakland Athletics from a lineup perspective. This Angel team is murdering the ball right now. They just are, and that's kind of a concern for me here. It's kind of a coin flip to me. I don't have any opinion on it.
Yeah, no, that'll do it for the entire baseball card as we look at it today. But definitely one of the more interesting games you're going to see, because probably next week, Jeff, we'll hopefully be up to mid 60s or at least 60-degree range in just about every single game. A lot of these games playing around freezing cold temperatures. Not a bad time to take some dogs. You saw some huge tickets cash, Jeff, over the past couple of days taking dogs. And again, we don't recommend just taking a blind dog just because it's a high line. Prove your point, build your case, and see if it makes it work out. But you can't hurt yourself in the month of April if you're leaning dog as opposed to favorite. And again, some big swings out there as well. And if you are going to bet big favorites, Jeff, take the run lines most of this time. Or if you're going to take maybe a parlay with, Houston Monday line matched up with another big one, just don't damage yourself and say, I'm going to lay $285 to win $100. No faster way to lose your money than going with that approach early, especially early in the season.
Now, I will say this, Donnie. I'll do a pretty puppy of the day. So I'll go a little dog of the day, and I'll go with a little, just a game I'm looking at. I'll tell you right now, guys, it kind of sucks. This is our first show because I'm not in love with this card. There's not a ton to be really interested in. I'm going to go pretty puppy of the day. I'm going to go with the Royals. I'm just gonna kind of fade Bauer. I'm gonna take a shot with Ian Kennedy. We'll hope he can keep the ball in the ballpark against a Cleveland lineup that is struggling right now. Again, I don't advise going heavy on these games, but we've had some decent success, Donnie. At least I have betting some of these big underdogs. As far as the game that looks good for me on the card, there aren't a ton of them. I think Houston looks pretty good, -1.5. I just think they kind of get back on the horse here after last night and really pound San Diego. So I'll go Houston -1.5, and I'll go big dog. I'll go with the Kansas City Royals, Donnie. That might be my thought process here. And Donnie, we must discuss this. What a turn of events here. Burnley down 1-0. Going to beat Watford 2-1. Cash another big ticket, I believe. We're waiting for a final score here. Blow the fucking whistle, asshole. Let's go. Come on. We want this plus 240, motherfucker. Let's go. Burnley, cash it. Come on. Blow the whistle. Donnie, can we get a whistle here? Final time, motherfuckers. Come on.
That's the part I like about it. We have extra time in soccer where nobody knows when the whistle's going to blow.
That might be it, Donnie. This might be it. We're past the 95-minute. This has to be it. The ref has to see this. A free kick coming from Watford. This is great radio, Donnie. Come on. Can they do it? Can Burnley finish it? And Burnley cash another big dog ticket, Donnie. This Burnley team, a team that is not steeped in tradition. Sean Dyche, 27 goals they've allowed this year. Just a fantastic defensive performance. Can they do this? Can they finish? Blow the whistle, Donnie. We're a minute and a half past the allotted 5. Come on. Oh, my God. Get possession, for God's sakes. This is brutal, Donnie. Brutal, brutal, brutal. I hear silence.
Double whistle.
I need it. Give me the fucking whistle. There it is. Yeah. Yeah. Give me that, motherfuckers. Let's go.
Burnley. Burnley.
Burnley. Burnley. Let's go, Clarence. Let's go. Yes. Bang. And did Accrington Stanley get the job done too? They were plus 175, Donnie. I'm murdering the pitch. I'm better than most of you Englishmen. Yes, Stanley wins as well. Plus 175. Come here, baby. Get in.
Is that your bankroll play of the week?
No, my play of the week was Bournemouth and Crystal Palace. Both teams to score. Another easy winner. Woo! Nice. Hey, motherfuckers, you fade me today? Fuck, boys. How about not? Woo! What's up with it? What's up with you, dog? What's up? Woo! Donnie, how you like me now?
That's nice.
That's 5-0 today.
Soccer. That is good. Soccer is early in the morning. I guess you get them plays out of the way before the real sports come in.
Shit, man. I don't care if it's a fucking cockroach race. If it pays, I'm betting.
By the way, last night, man, Sixers game picked up the nice win last night, man. That was fun to watch.
Oh, my God. What a crazy game, Donnie.
Yeah, no, I watched it all the way through up 30, then dipped all the way back down. But it was a nice hold on by the Sixers at the end of the game. It's the NBA, man. That's what they do. If the teams get down 30, even they get down 40 points, the one team's making a run. They damn near do it every night, but that's a nice hold on by the Sixers last night. Sip into that third seed. Woo-hoo-hoo.
I couldn't believe it, though. I mean, I thought they were going to blow a 30-point lead. My God. That would have been brutal.
No, it wouldn't have because you want that to keep going.
Exactly. All right, boys. We'll look to wrap it up here today. Obviously, a fun morning here with the football. We'll look to keep it going with Manchester United plus 375 if they hit. You might as well close the fucking door on the day, bro. We'll look to get that 5-1 on the soccer. We'll add the numbers up here in a minute. Other than that, Donnie, baseball today, I'll go with Kansas City plus the big price, and I'll go with the Houston Astros minus 1.5.
That's all. Let's hope we get some winners and enjoy the day because I'm probably going to be cooped up or at least be in a full snowsuit when I leave the house in the 30-degree temperatures here in the month of April. It was nice last night, though, Jeff. Got a little reprieve. Maybe 60 degrees late in the afternoon. Was able to get in a cigar, and hopefully we can continue that trend when it warms up again, maybe in May.
Yeah, good luck, Donnie. You're not going to have any weekend weather this weekend for that. So hopefully you got it in, yes.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, guys. Everyone have a great night. Thanks to Larry for producing the show. We'll be back Monday, right side of campus. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.
Peace.